After losing his seat to McLaren, it looked as though Daniel Ricciardo was going to take a year off of racing completely, perhaps chase some other life goals, but it looks as though he's making a return to F1. He will be a member of the paddock next year, but not in the role that we are expecting. Let's get right into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Formula One Digest. I'm your host, Tyson De Silva, reacting to Daniel Ricciardo making the announcement that he is going to be joining Red Bull Racing. That's right. Daniel Ricciardo is returning back to where his roots are from and will be a Red Bull third-string driver behind Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. And this is a really interesting move from Daniel. It's a move that's been rumored to be on the table that Red Bull would want him back. Truth is, I don't think Red Bull ever wanted to see him go. They always wanted Daniel to stay with the team and be a member of their championship runs, but he wanted to go somewhere else and didn't want to be the second driver to Max Verstappen. And now it comes out that he is returning and he will be their reserve driver for 2023. And this allows him to still be in F1. He will probably get some run in FP1 sessions next year, and that will keep him almost, I guess, fit in a way. Or if something should happen to Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez where they cannot race, he will be given that opportunity to race for them. But when you look at Daniel Ricciardo's moves over the last few years, it makes you question why he left Red Bull in the first place. For those of you who don't know the story of Daniel Ricciardo, he started off as a Red Bull Academy driver, eventually working his way up to the senior team, and was their number one driver for a number of years and a guy that they wanted to be a world champion. And he won 7 races with them. Most notably, he won in Monaco. And it all looked really good for him. But then in comes Max Verstappen, this young phenom of a driver who seemed to be edging Daniel out and as the years went on. And eventually it looked as though Max was gaining the favor of the team to be the future of Red Bull Racing. And Daniel made the decision in 2018 to leave and go to Renault because he wanted to be the number one driver on his own team. He didn't want to play second fiddle to Max. And he had a stint in Renault where he was average. He didn't really do anything special there, maybe a podium or two, but he was actually probably the worst version of Daniel Ricciardo that we've seen, in my opinion. And then after 2 years of Renault, there was an opportunity to race with McLaren as Carlos Sainz moved to Ferrari, and Daniel hopped on top of that. And as many of you will know, he got a race win in 2021 at Monza with McLaren. It's McLaren's only win in a very long time. And 2022 did not go Daniel's way, and it resulted in him being cut by the team. And even though he had a contract for next year, they have bought him out. And even though there were options for him to go to IndyCar and participate in other racing competitions, Daniel decided that he wanted to stay in F1 where he probably wants to finish his career, and said if he has to take a year off, then he'll do that. Of course, this led to many rumors that maybe he'll be a reserve driver for a couple of teams. Most notably, Mercedes was in the mix to sign him for their reserve driver role, especially after losing Nick de Vries to AlphaTauri. But it looks as though they miss out again as Red Bull managed to secure it. The news was broken by Helmut Marko on Austrian TV, I believe, and then it just kind of spread like wildfire. And now Daniel Ricciardo is officially a Red Bull driver once again next year. This is really interesting because for Red Bull, they already have 2 elite drivers in Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. But now you may be questioning, is Sergio's spot on the team as secure as he may think, or as we might think? Because Daniel's also a guy that Red Bull liked. And as Sergio gets older and Daniel gets older, there might be some competition to see who can beat it. So the question is, will he be the replacement for Sergio Perez? And I personally don't think that this is the case. Daniel Ricciardo is 2 years older than Sergio at 33. Sergio has 2 years left on his deal. It's a pretty decent deal for a guy who is probably exiting his prime years, or is, I guess, in the middle to exiting his prime years. And Daniel Ricciardo is way past his prime at 33. By the time Sergio Perez's contract is up, he will be 35. And unless he's able to perform again, we keep going back to it, unless he's able to perform Fernando Alonso like numbers and show that he still has what it takes, I don't think that this means that he's going to be on the grid next in the future as a Red Bull driver. But I think it is a possibility should Sergio Perez or Max Verstappen get injured or get suspended, or there are a bunch of reasons why a driver might not race for a weekend. Going back to what I said about there being a replacement for Sergio Perez, we also need to remember that Nick de Vries is also a option for the future, as he's 29 or 28. He's in his late 20s. He has probably a higher ceiling at this point than Daniel. And yeah, I just think that Red Bull has positioned themselves in a good way, because now they have multiple drivers who can take that spot should Sergio Perez's driving deteriorate in any way, or they choose to move on from him. So it is going to be really interesting to see what they do. But right now, the best I think Daniel can do is hope that eventually he gets a shot with AlphaTauri, or maybe gets to sub in for one of these races. We have seen it this year where Nick de Vries subbed in for Alex Albon. So there are going to be opportunities, but it's going to be tough for Daniel to come back into the sport. But I think going with Red Bull is the right way to go about it. This means that he has an opportunity and he'll be in the right position should something happen. For now, I just think that Daniel's going to be a reserve driver. He'll probably get some FP1 sessions. Hopefully he gets to do an FP1 session in Vegas, because I think that's a race that he had circled on his list with McLaren. But until then, I think we just have to wait and see. There are rumors that he could actually go to be a AlphaTauri driver. As many people know, Yuki Tsunoda signed a 1-year deal with the team, but it doesn't look like his seat is as secure either. I think Helmut Marko is open to moving on from Yuki Tsunoda if he's not able to perform at a high level. And I think that if he were to get cut from the team, Daniel Ricciardo is a very good candidate to have, and it would give Daniel the opportunity to race consistently in 2024. If you guys have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Let us know if you think this is the right move for Daniel, if you think he will be a Red Bull driver again as Max Verstappen's partner. And just let us know if you think that there are other teams that should have maybe gone out and had Daniel as a reserve driver. We appreciate all the support that you guys give. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and we will see you guys in the next video.